This video is rotations part 2. If we had an ordered pair, we'll call XY, and in this quadrant it would be positive X, positive Y. And it rotated 90 degrees. Then the figure would definitely come over to this quadrant. And in this quadrant, our X value is negative and our Y value is positive. Well, the rule, the X value is negative, but we call it the opposite of Y. And the X value stays the same. If we're here and we rotate 180 degrees, which would be a straight line, then we would be in this quadrant, which means our X value would be opposite of what it was, as our Y value would be opposite of what it was. So this rule is the opposite of X and the opposite of Y. If we were going 270 degrees, we would end up in this quadrant. And in this quadrant, X would be positive and Y would be negative. But again, they switch places. So we call it the opposite of Y and the opposite of X. So down here on practice 3, it's just again giving us practice with X and Y. If we're rotating 90 degrees about the origin, that means we would be going counterclockwise. The Y value, if we look at our rules, it's the opposite of Y, so it's the opposite of Y and X. For 180 degrees, it's the opposite of X, the opposite of Y. For 270 degrees, it's Y and the opposite of X. Now let's try an ordered pair. 9, negative 1. To rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise, it is the opposite of Y, so that would become positive 1, and X stays the same. For 180 degrees, X becomes the opposite and Y becomes opposite. So X became negative 9 and Y became positive 1. For the rotation of 270 degrees, Y stays the same and X becomes opposite. If you'd like to try the next one on your own, press pause and then come back to the video. 90 degrees, Y becomes opposite, X stays the same. 180 degrees, both become opposite. So negative becomes positive, negative becomes positive. 270 degrees, Y comes first, and then the opposite of X. Okay, for this example, for number 9, let's plot our points. 2, 2, X, 4, 3, Y, and Z is 3, 0. And it is a triangle. We are rotating 90 degrees, so that means we will be rotating this way. We can use our rule, the opposite of Y, comma X. So the opposite of Y is negative 2, and x is 2. For y, the opposite of y is -3, and then x stays the same. The opposite of y, there isn't an opposite of 0, and then 3. And our rule, the opposite of y, x. Well, I'd like to show you a different way to graph a rotation. Take your ordered pair, take a vertex and draw to the origin. Now we know we are going to the right, to the left, and we're going 90 degrees. This kind of, we could look at, say, went through two boxes. So this would be x prime. Let's see if we got it. -2, +2. Yes, that is what the rule stated. Let's erase our lines so we don't get confused. And we can do the same thing with the y vertex. Now I want to make a 90-degree angle, so it's going to come up through here, something like this. Now if I look this way, I've kind of gone through 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes. -3, +4. And yes, that is correct. If we erase our lines, it's not as confusing. So this is x prime, this is y prime, and we can do the same for z. Z to the origin, and then it's much easier because it's right on the origin. We know it's a right angle. So is that 3 here? So it's going to be a 3 here. So this is z prime at 0, 3. And yes, that is correct. Number 10. A is 1, 3. B is 4, 4. And C is 4, 0. Using our rule, we could fill in. Our rule for 180-degree rotation is the opposite of x, the opposite of y. So A becomes the opposite of 1, opposite of 3, opposite 4, opposite 4, opposite 4, and 0 is neutral. So let's graph that with green. Well, let's do the line thing. So we're going to go from our vertex to the origin, and 180 degrees is a straight line. So 1, 2, 3 boxes, 1, 2, 3 boxes. So we would guess that A is at -1, -3. And it was correct. So this is A prime. And let's get rid of our line. B, from the vertex